This show contains views and opinions that may not be suitable for certain audiences. Listener discretion is strongly advised. A friendly reminder, Mary Jane edibles are not a substitute for actually paying your Lyft driver. Don't forget to tip your bartenders, you filthy fucking animals. And if you've got kinks, we've got links. Don't forget to subscribe, put on your seatbelt, and enjoy the ride.
Howdy, 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 everybody, and welcome to Thespian Talk. I am your host, Gomer the Ranting Thespian. With me this week is Scolipendra.
Hello.
And Michelle.
Hello.
And last week, just took off because honestly just needed a little bit of a breather. You know, no drama or anything, it's just, self-care.
Yeah.
So, over the past couple of weeks, you know, we're seeing more and more that looks like we're going to be very disappointed in Biden. There are some things he's pushing for and doing all right with, but then, where's our money? Hey, Joe, where's our money, man? You know, we still don't have it. And I realize it's not all him, you know, Congress has something to do with it too, but here's the thing. We can find ways to make it work even with a cleanly divided Senate.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
We can make it work. We just, you know, we just need to stop believing that if you treat the Republicans fairly, they'll do so in kind. When history has proven over and over again, they fucking don't. Because they're evil. They lied. And speaking of evil, lying Republicans, I'm turning to Mitt Romney for a moment because unless there's information otherwise that I have not seen, he is trying to tack on this whole religious liberty thing to, I think it was like a pro-LGBTQ bill that would, you know, protect them from discrimination legally and all of that. I'm going by memory and all of that, so if I'm wrong, please let me know.
It's not ringing any bells, but it seems somewhat contradictory.
Yeah,
so it's a pro-LGBTQ rights bill.
Mm-hmm.
They can't be discriminated against, but tack on this little bit of religion which likes to discriminate against.
Yeah.
So basically,
Go ahead.
So basically, the bill is the point of the bill is kind of nullified.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which is like, oh, they can have all that. What about the Christians' freedom? It's like, Christians already have that freedom. Shut the fuck up.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's just now, if they discriminate, there will actually be consequences.
Yeah.
So, you know, like there should be. Because regardless of your sexual orientation, or your gender identity, or what have you, if you're treated unfairly, there should be consequences against the person who treated you unfairly. I don't care if you're a Christian, if you're a Muslim, if you're an atheist, I don't care. If you fire somebody simply for them being gay, then fuck you.
Exactly.
It's just, but they make customers uncomfortable. Well, that's the problem with the customers now, isn't it?
Yep.
Well, then we don't make as much money. Well, guess what? If you stand up for your particular workers, then more people like that worker are going to see, hey, wait a minute. This is actually good business. I want to give money to this. Because bigots are not your only customer base here. And there are plenty more.
I don't.
And if the if the presidential election that we just had is any indication, there are a lot more non-bigots than there are bigots.
Yep.
Yeah.
And even if it's not, I'm pretty sure the decent people outweigh the bigots no matter what.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure, or at least the blatant bigots, I should say. But yeah. So Joe, we need our, Joe, Democrats, we need our money. We need it like yesterday. But
I will say that because I was watching Damage Report and they had a town hall where someone asked him outright about the student debt relief, and he said he's going to cap it at 10, and she's all about 50, and he goes, no, I'm not doing that, and then he went into his reasons, and like, okay, disregarding his reasons, disregarding everything else he said,
mm-hmm.
at least he was straightforward and honest.
Yeah.
That's kind of refreshing.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
That is one thing you can say. You know,
I'm not saying I agree with it, but
kind of reminds me of an old George Carlin bit from like the 90s. And at the time, he was talking about the then recent election between Bill Clinton and Bob Dole. You know, Bob Dole, the Republican. I'm a plain and honest man. I think even Republicans still go on about it today, about the whole family values, and blah 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 blah. All of these wholesome conservative things that appeal to white bigots, without saying the quiet part out loud. Meanwhile, Bill Clinton, is just like, hey, this is me. This is what you get. Whereas Biden, still not quite as honest as Bill Clinton, at least in terms of, the election season and now. But he's still a lot more honest than Donald Trump.
Yep.
In the current Republican Party. So, so points for honesty, we're still gonna drag your ass. Because you said you were gonna do a thing, you're not doing the thing, and everybody in Congress, well, I say everybody, there are some people in Congress, both houses of Congress, that are trying. You got Bernie Sanders, you got AOC, just to name two, who are legitimately trying and fighting. You gotta give credit. You gotta give credit where it's due.
Yeah.
Yep.
And yeah, for Biden's credit, you can give him credit for doing certain things that we need to have done, reversing some Trump policies. Okay, good. That's a good start, because he also has a lot of bullshit to deal with too. Because again, we gotta fix shit from the last guy. So, so on the one hand, it's understandable. He's got a lot of shit to deal with. But on the other hand, that's not an excuse either.
No.
And
I mean, focusing on a positive, your vaccine rollout seems to be going well.
Yeah, so far. No telling when I can get one here in Florida, although I may be able to just go across state line and say, hey, fuck you, DeSantis. I'm getting it anyway. I don't give a fuck what you say.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank goodness for living 3 miles from Alabama. A phrase I never thought would be escaping my lips.
Oh my, yeah.
But just, and fuck DeSantis too. Fuck DeSantis and fuck our senators. Like, goddamn, fuck them all.
Romney's one that confuses me though.
Yeah. Like, on some cases he's like, yeah, he's decent enough, but on other cases, like, no. Just no.
Because he was like, he voted for the impeachment first time and he voted for the impeachment the second time. So he kind of historic there. And then you had the 6 other people that joined him, so that's kind of historic. Well done there. And then he goes and does this religious shit, which, okay, fair enough, Mormon, but again, you don't have... Okay. I've probably had this right before, I'll probably have it again. But generally speaking, if you're a person of faith and just keep your shit to yourself, fine, whatever, do what you want to. When you start shoving it down other people and, like, trying to put it... Especially when you're a lawmaker, fuck off with that shit.
Exactly.
Just stop it.
It's just it was one of George Carlin's. Carlin's going to be referenced a lot, probably, but one of his bits was like the thinning down of the 10 Commandments, and in his 2 commandments there was like, try really hard not to kill anybody. I don't remember what the other one was, and then he added a third one: thou shalt keep thy religion to thyself.
Well, I saw this cartoon. It was 2 ladies on a bar bench enjoying ice cream. And a star boy comes up to them and goes, my religion tells me that I'm not allowed to eat ice cream on a Sunday. And they're like, cool, alright, fair enough.
Yeah.
So that means you can't eat ice cream on a Sunday. Why? Because my religion tells me that I'm not allowed to, therefore you... It does not work that way.
No, it does not. It just does not. It's like no, I don't care what your Bible says. I don't care what your Quran says or your Torah or whatever other holy books are out there. I don't care what they say. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do as long as it doesn't hurt anybody. There are holy books out there that says, well, you know what, you can't have more than one sexual partner at a time. Fuck you, I have 2. Fuck you. And guess what? There's still I can only speak to the Bible on this one. There is biblical precedent for it. Hi, King David. Hi, King Solomon.
Hey, go to the Greek gods. They had fucking orgies.
Yeah. You know, I mean, if you're gonna devote your life to some deities or whatever, ancient Greece is right there.
Yeah.
Granted, most of them were also colossal assholes, but still.
At least they were fun.
Yeah. Although I will side eye you if you start worshiping Zeus because dude's a bit rapey. But you know.
Yeah. And I will say the Greek gods do make better movies than the biblical one.
Yeah.
They are more fun movies.
Yeah, because it's not just snap your fingers, it's done. It's like they do this or that, and they normally don't care until somebody says, "Hey," like the whole Cyclops part of the Odyssey.
Yeah.
You know, like Poseidon didn't give a shit until Odysseus gouged out the Cyclops' eye, and the Cyclops is like, I know he has a name, I just don't remember it right now. And he was like, "Hey, Poseidon, this dude fucked me over. Can you do something about this shit?" And Poseidon's like, "What? Oh, hell no, you fuck Will my boys." And then just set them off course for like 10 years or something.
Yeah.
I mean, never mind the fact that the same Cyclops was eating Odysseus' men, you know.
Yeah. Well, the other point I was going to make was, come back.
Meanwhile, somewhere, Becky's ears are perking up and she doesn't know why.
Oh, yeah. Most religious arguments are predicated on you having the same faith. So, for example, going on like the whole no sex before marriage thing, because it's a common one. You know, or that's a sin if you have sex before marriage, then you're committing heinous sin. Yeah, according to your religion and your God, I don't happen to subscribe to your God, so how is it a sin for me?
Exactly.
Yep.
And it's people, and that actually leads into one of the articles that's been that we dug up for this week, but. Before we get
Should we say hello first?
Yeah. Before we get into that, how's everybody's last couple of weeks been? We'll start with you, Michelle.
Not bad. I think I mentioned last time that I've gotten some new hours in the morning, which is nice. It's mostly giving me a nice routine, and I'm home by 1 o'clock every day, and then that's pretty much my day.
Yeah.
The only downside is because of my other job. I have to every Tuesday. I have to be up at 4 o'clock rather than 6:30, and that's messing my routine out. It's like it's kind of nice, and then I've got this early morning, and that's kind of.
Yeah.
What I may end up doing if the extra hours become full time, because at the moment it's like until a certain date. But I asked her, so is that because like holiday, maternity, whatever? She says, no, it's just because just basically see how you get on.
Yeah.
She's coming in next week. So I think everyone's okay with me. So short version, if it goes long term, more permanent, I might say to my other boss, yeah, the one where I have to get up in the morning, it's kind of screwing me over. I like the job, I like the people. It's not, I won't just walk away. I'll make sure everything's sorted out first. But yeah, I might have to discuss dropping that one, because then I can actually have a nice routine.
Yeah.
Rather than one where I have to get up early, 1 out of every 7 days. It's like, no.
Yeah, because
but yeah,
we want to make sure you don't break.
Yeah, no, I mean, to be fair, my work hours are like, I'm still on, it's a little under 30 hours a week. And it's actually, with the rate I get paid, it actually works out quite nice.
Yeah.
It's just that one early morning just messes it up.
Ooh.
And I'm not very good at napping. Like, I'll sometimes sit on the sofa and like I'll start drifting off, and then I'll fair enough, I'll take that, but otherwise, yeah, no, I can't. But yeah, generally speaking, I'm okay. I've been playing Link's Awakening again.
Oh yeah.
And I showed you that screen cap, didn't I? I posted it on the. I'll put it into the chat. But I was playing the rafting game, and it was something he's. I didn't actually download the picture, so hang on, I'll show Scully so you can have a look. Yeah, it's like if you don't do the game, it says, obviously like, hey, option A says this, option B says that. Alright, cool. option B for the not doing it was it was a bit weird. Hang on, sorry, I'm delaying because I'm trying to upload the picture to the green room before I say what it is, so Scully can react to it.
Well,
And
there it
we go.
is. Yeah. It reads, if you want to get wet, we're always open.
oh my.
Yes.
I just tweeted it with phrasing.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nintendo localizers. We love you. Sometimes.
Yes.
Yeah, phrasing.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, in the original, Japanese Link's Awakening for the Game Boy, way back in the day,
Yeah.
you had to give the mermaid a pearl necklace. Yep. And I don't remember exactly what it was in Japan, but it was not a mermaid scale that you got from the mermaid for giving her that pearl necklace.
Ooh.
Well then.
Yeah, it's just
I
like...
played the DX. I played the DX version, and obviously now playing on the Switch. I can't remember what the graphic was like on the DX, but on the Switch, it is a necklace that is purple. It's always ever described. It's only described as a necklace, and it's actually quite a nice design. It's a nice little purple necklace, and it is a scale that you take from her. So that part is not dubious, but that one's just like, what? Cap.
Yeah, it's just...
keeping that one.
The more things change, the more they stay the same.
But yeah, generally just plodding along.
Yes. How about you, Scully? How have you been the past couple of weeks?
Oh, I've been alright. We got hit with a ton of ice and snow, like, a couple weeks ago, and it only started melting, like, on Sunday. I mean, most of the ice is melted, but there's still, like, some piles here and there. That sucked. I mean, yeah, guess what happened during that ice storm? Fucking gutter fell out.
Oh, no.
Oh no.
Yeah, it got, like, I guess whoever installed it all those years ago did not do a very good job, and got clogged up with ice, and it just gave out. Sucks.
Ooh.
Yeah. Oof, like,
Yeah,
broke in
it's not
half,
good.
too. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, just... Oof.
Yeah. Yeah, it fell down, and it broke a potted plant. Like,
no.
it broke a... Yeah. At least it did not hit a window. Oh god, that would have been terrible.
No.
Yeah.
No, not the plants.
Yep.
We got the tail end of Darcy. We were like really, really cold for a couple of weeks, but we didn't have any like. We had like flutters of snow, but nothing like you guys have been getting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Also,
yeah.
maybe
Not
laugh
as
that they
bad
called
as
it
it is.
Darcy.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay.
I was going to say, it made me laugh that they call it Darcy because I've been watching WandaVision.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and thanks to Rosen, I'm caught up on it, too.
Yay!
Oh, boy. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun, that's for sure. And if you know, you know. I will not intentionally spoil here.
No.
Although, before we get into the article I'm pulling up here, I've seen people complain about how WandaVision has been put out. Like the past week, or not week, but like, this past season, and just people are like, well, why don't you just put it all up at once? We want to see more. It's like, are we really that far away from how TV used to be in the past? I'm pretty sure we're not. I mean, most anime fans will tell you, yeah, that style of television has not really changed. Because, anime gets put out on a weekly basis. You don't binge it all at once right off the bat. And there's
Network TV's still doing it weekly.
Yeah. I mean, just because it's on Disney Plus doesn't mean that it has to go up all at once. I mean, hell, even DuckTales is doing that. They've got a few episodes left. But But you know,
We'll probably get season 3 drop all at once, to be fair. Which
yeah, maybe.
I need to catch up on too.
But and it's just people. You know, it's fine. WandaVision, I think Mandalorian did the same thing.
Yeah.
You know, it's fine the way it is. It's like, yeah, it's meant to keep you in suspense for the next week, to get people talking about it.
I'm loving it.
Yeah.
I've had this much fun theorizing about a show since the X-Files.
Yeah. And hell, soap operas do the same thing. They've been doing the same thing for over half a century. Yeah. Except they're on a week daily basis. You know, as in Monday through Friday. You know, every day, Monday through Friday, you get a new episode. Mostly. You know, there are things. Yeah, it depends on if something happens, it gets pushed back. Not really much we can do about it. And we still, in 2021, have people who will complain that, the stupid impeachment trial, you're messing up my soap opera. It's like, guys, I like the soap too, but come on, it's the impeachment trial. I think it's a little more important.
Thing is, even with streaming, week to week's not that unusual because Netflix has been doing Netflix. I get maybe it's because it's CW, but Riverdale's been week to week.
Yeah.
You know, other shows have been week to week, so
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe it's because it is a network show first.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, guys, just have your patience, have the fun, enjoy the ride. That's what it's there for. You know, and plus, you'll have a full week. You don't have to worry about spoilers for the end of the season.
Alright, looks like my Audacity's about to crack.
More than 1 week, but still. You know, there's not as much pressure to watch the entire thing. Because I think WandaVision's season here is supposed to be, 13 episodes, I think?
2 left.
12, 10 to 13?
Yeah.
Yeah.
9, because there's only 2 left.
So, 9. Okay, so 9. And I think the last couple of them are supposed to be hour long. Mm-hmm. But up until this point, they've been, half an hour each?
25 to 38.
So, yeah. Well, so I'll average it out half an hour. Mm-hmm. So you have 7. It would be 7. So 3.5 hours to catch up on. As opposed, all at once. Because if it all gets released at once, and you can binge it all at once. That's 3.5 hours. Maybe you don't have that kind of time, but you can more easily set aside time every week, which you may end up doing anyway, whether it drops all at once or weekly, like it does now.
I don't.
Point is, quit your bitching.
I'm not sure I'd enjoy it as much if it was all at once. I mean, I'd still enjoy it, but I wouldn't get the same enjoyment from it.
Yeah. For me, it would depend on the show, but
yeah, I was saying specifically.
Maybe I wouldn't.
Specifically for WandaVision, especially talk about the episode 5 cliffhanger and stuff like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, no. We need the pacing out.
Yeah, pacing is a good thing. Trust me.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen plenty of movies and I've been in plenty of shows that have really sucky pacing.
I wrote a very brief thing I had, and I shared it with Aaron, and he read it in 10 seconds, and then he liked it. He said it was good, but then he was like, "Pacing's off." I'm like, he may actually have a point, but am I going to take pacing tips off someone who reads that fast? No offense, Aaron. You know I love you, but dude.
But that is part of a lead-in into this article that's been going around. I even shared it on my Facebook too. It's from saltyworld.net. And the article is written by Lindsay Zeldera, I think, and the article is, "Sorry I have no filter is not an excuse to be an asshole." Which,
exactly,
right off the bat, that is true. Now, if you're going to be an asshole, and I have been, and hell, you probably could see me as an asshole telling people who are whining about WandaVision being released weekly to quit your bitching. That could be seen as an asshole move, sure, and I admit that. But that's not because I have no filter. That's because y'all really need to quit your bitching. So, So it's like, and every now and then I don't mention it often, but I say, oh, I have very little filter, and honestly, that's true. You listen back to my shows, you look at my Twitter feed, you look at everything I've done, you can tell I don't have much of a filter. There is one there, but it's not much. But whether I'm an asshole or not is independent of my filter. That's just, that's not my excuse for telling somebody to quit your bitching. That's just, if I'm going to be an asshole, I'm going to be an asshole. So, the article's not too awful long, I don't think. No, not that long. Okay. So, here we go. There is an older lady who I work with who sometimes attempts to lighten the mood of a grouchy customer with some kind of joke. It almost never works, but she shoots her shot anyway. She's just one of those boomer types who has the optimism the way most Gen Y folks have depression. Customers might get more annoyed by her jokes, but the jokes themselves are never offensive. Balmy day out there, she will say in the dead of a Catharesque Nebraska winter. I think that person definitely needed some coffee, she will quip to the next person in line after a customer is rude to her. Don't you just hate it when someone comes in and is just committed to being rude? Sorry, I have no filter. Sorry, I have no filter. As in, I realize this may be outside of my corporate script, but I said it anyway because I, too, am just trying to get through the day. Because this stupid joke is my way of trying to reconnect with my faith in the general goodness, or at least okayness of humanity. I heard her say this line to a regular, a man in his late 50s who comes in twice a day and usually comments on my hair or a lack of smile, and refuses to order using the terms that are actually on the menu, so that you have to ask a bunch of questions to make sure he's getting what he wants, and then gets mad that you don't already know. He also gives my manager lots of unsolicited advice on how she should better manage her very happy and functional staff. I didn't catch the initial comment over the sound of my steaming wand and some eggnog. Ah, you're a barista. Yeah, that to take a moment there. Yeah, that is one of those things, and obviously my big thing is Starbucks, but I think all coffee houses tend to do this. Instead of small, medium, and large, you have what it's like tall.
Grande venti, yeah.
Yeah, and it's like that's a little weird, but you can adapt with like 2 seconds of critical thinking.
Uh-huh.
You just do.
Yes.
So, okay. Sorry, I have no filter. My coworker shook her head dismissively as she turned to get his coffee. Oh, I don't either, he assured her. I always speak my mind. I get in trouble for it at work every day. As he said this, all of my professional interactions with this customer went through my head. The same creepy customer. I have a doppio, croissant, and a smile. That'll be $3.75. And a smile. I'll go throw that croissant in. I don't see a smile. Did you not hear me? I heard you and I chose to ignore you. Would you like your receipt? He scoffs, rolls his eyes, glares, turns on his heel, and doesn't tell me whether he wants a receipt. And here comes another interaction. What can I get started for you? I have to ask. Why did you do that to your hair? He shrugs. What can I get started for you? There's a staring contest. And before she says, I've always had it like this. Sorry, I have no filter. And he looks at her. Now I'm in trouble again. This is not, sorry I have no filter. This is, I acknowledge that I chose to sexually harass you at work and will laugh off any attempt at holding me accountable. One of those assholes.
Yeah.
It is even more. It is an act of self-infantilization. Infantilization, I think is how it's supposed to be pronounced, actually, but
Yes.
yeah. It is an attack on the concept of women working at all and an attempt to force them back into the mothering role and a degradation of their value as professionals. It's not, I have no filter in the sense that my coworker sometimes makes a joke about a customer's rudeness or about someone ordering an iced drink on a cold day. It's, I will never think of you as capable of anything besides mothering me, even if I am 30 years older than you. How dare you not have time for it? If you are getting in trouble for comments at work, I guarantee you are actually getting reprimanded for abusive and unprofessional behavior, and that most of your coworkers are talking about you as soon as you leave the room, and not in a good way. If what you said was bad enough that someone talked to you about it, and you are now making light of it to employees at a coffee shop, you have no understanding of the gravity of the situation you have gotten yourself into. If a man tells you he gets in trouble at work regularly, he is making a desperate attempt to cling to the notion that he is above accountability and simultaneously childishly incapable of self-control. In the context of workplace harassment, this is dangerous enough. It is even more troubling when you think of the other areas of life to which this freedom from accountability exists in his mind. If he has no problem leading his life systematically hurting the women who have had to interact with him in order to do their jobs, making their lives worse, how badly does he hurt the women who deal with him on a personal level? After years of experience in different workplaces, if a man tells me he has no filter, I'd run the opposite direction. If a filter in the form of scripting 8 hours of conversation on a cash register can feel more like a muzzle, but having a filter in many cases means having a sense of respect for those around you. I have no filter often translates to perform the unpaid labor of filtering me. I no longer spend my time doing men the favor of filtering their sexism. I don't laugh it off. I don't pretend I didn't hear it. Like the bitch I am, I go straight to HR. And, I'm here for it. Because there is a difference between, like I said, I consider, I admit I have asshole tendency from time to time, and I admit it. I own it, but I don't use the filter excuse for that. And the only time the filter excuse, and I'll use it as an excuse, might even apply to me is if I overshare something without thinking and taking into account things, like whose company I'm in. Like, I might say something that might accidentally be offensive to somebody, and I either don't realize it or I'm not thinking about it because I'm too focused on this thing, and then somebody has to speak up and say, hey, yeah, that's kind of fucked up, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, then. That's where a filter failure comes in.
Yeah.
When you don't realize something, and then all of a sudden it has to be pointed out to you, and then you instantly apologize and correct your actions. And you move on from there.
Sometimes
What the dude she's describing here it's not a filter failure. Like she said, it's a dude who just wants to not be held accountable for apparently, I'm guessing, getting off on being sexist to baristas.
Yeah.
It's just no. There comes a point where you have to take responsibility. That's again to go right back to the filter failure thing on my end. I say something that's TMI. I get called out on it. I course correct, and we move on. That is how it should be done.
Yeah.
The filter is there to say, hey, past experience has said don't do this, so maybe not do this. That's what the filter is there for.
Yeah.
And if you do it anyways, even though you know in your head, and I believe this creeper knows in his head that it is the wrong thing to do, he just doesn't give a shit. That's not the filter failing. That's you ignoring the filter.
Yep.
Yeah. And filter or no, you can't blame it on you being an asshole. Because being an asshole has nothing to do with the damn filter. So, in essence, I do agree with Lindsay here. Probably in my own roundabout way. But just, yeah.
I think
there's all... I want to see a barista, with her in particular. Like, next time this guy comes in and she's working and he tries to pull this shit, she gets him his drink and then just dashes it across his face.
Yeah.
Just fuck this guy. Oh. So, I think I kind of barreled over Michelle there for a few times. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I was going to say, there's a difference between what you're saying about if you're mid-flow or you're telling a particularly enthusiastic story and you're just like, and then this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened, and you're like, whoa, back up. What did you say? That wasn't cool, dude. Oh, shit, sorry, yeah. Rather than the shorter interactions that this guy would obviously be having. So there's a difference there as well, to what you were saying.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
The whole story, though, reminded me... I'm going to... Well, I think we're going to circle back to this in a minute anyway, but a quote from Buffy that I've always enjoyed. So this is Cordelia. So isn't this you being afraid of hospitals because your friend died and you want to conjure up a monster so you can fight and you can save everyone and not feel helpless? Cordelia, have you ever heard of tact? Tact is not saying true stuff. I'll pass. I like Cordelia though, because that line about like tact is basically lying for her. Remember, she was about 16, 17 at the time, so we are talking about teenage logic as well. For all Cordelia's high school bitchiness, she was never a bad person, and at least I would prefer the honesty. However, despite this line as well, Cordelia did learn tact. She did know how to speak to people properly. She knew how to speak to different types of people. And obviously she's chill around monsters because she grew up in Sunnydale. It's like there's differences. I actually have a real world example as well. When I was working, it's not long after I started working at the store I used to work at. One of the lads there was coming into some money. I think he got like 10 grand or something, whatever it was. And he was like, I was like, oh, well, where's that come from? It was inheritance. Oh, well done. Oh shit, no, sorry. But because I was like so...
Oh boy.
I was like, oh cool, money, yeah, oh, brain process what you just said there. Oh shit, that's not good. But I think because I was so quick with my, oh shit, I'm sorry, I was so mortified with myself. He just kind of laughed and said, no, it's fine, thank you, but no, it's he sort of took it and he was like, oh shit, sorry, no, that's not good, that's not well done, I'm so sorry. And actually, I think it was because he come. This is after I don't know him a little while. I feel if I'm remembering correctly, his dad had actually passed a couple of years back, but he'd only just come of age to get the money. So that was why it was now. So it wasn't even like a fresh wound, which thank God for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was.
Oh dear.
But no, dude, this guy's being a dick. Having been on both sides, I've never been. Well, I actually have not been a proper barista, but I have worked in cafes. I have worked in shops. I've said before, I consider when I'm working at the council as customer service, because members of the public, when you're walking around town, will ask you for directions. And if you're wandering around often enough, you see the same faces and people sort of say hello to you. You learn how to talk to different people. I've worked in grotty pubs. I've worked in posh hotels. You learn to pitch to the audience. And this guy clearly isn't.
It's like... Yeah. It's kind of like the difference if you're wanting to tell two different people that they look good in certain outfits or whatever. One person might be okay with you saying, yeah, your ass looks good in those jeans, grabby.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you don't want to say that to this other person, because if you say your ass looks good, grabby, you're going to get a boot to the nuts.
Yeah.
So that's kind of another way to put it. Like, it's like, know your audience, read the room.
Yeah.
Certain comedians could also take a lesson from this too. But just read the room.
Sir,
read the room.
I was backing on my Google search, and someone's actually made a cross stitch of tact. Noun 1, not saying true stuff.
Oh wow!
Wow.
So Scully, do you have any thoughts on all of this, or?
Yeah. So I have ADHD, and sometimes I struggle with filter. But that does not mean that I use it as a pass to say something rude or TMI. I mean, if I say something, and you point it out that I kind of said something kind of weird or bad, I'll apologize. I mean, I'm not going to say, oh, I can't help it, I've got ADHD, I don't have a filter. I mean, I used to have much worse filter, but I've gotten better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. This dude is just doesn't want to accept any responsibility for his actions.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go out on a limb.
Honestly, like you said, I don't even think he cares that he's making her uncomfortable.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go on a couple of limbs and say that this person is not very tan, and that he doesn't accept he has privilege.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's probably part of a cult. How dare you say he's part of a cult? Well, it depends on who he's supported politically. Because there is a politician and then there is a cult leader.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, with that, we do have one other longer article, but I kind of want to put that in the second half of the show. So, we'll go ahead and take our break real quick. And then when we come back, we'll get into that article that may go ahead and may end up taking us to the end of the show. We'll have to see when we get there. But, yeah, until then, stick around. Howdy, everybody, and welcome to this little segment of my show here. So, we took off last week, partially because I was needing some self-care stuff, which is true. It's true, it's just, nothing major, it's just, don't force it, and that's the way all work should be. You shouldn't have to force yourself for any kind of work. But that's a little off topic of what I want to go with. So, but last week, it was Valentine's Day, and Valentine's Day, well, I got Becky some DLC because that's all there was on her Steam wish list. She got me Danganronpa V3, and Rosen and company have been playing through it on his streams. There might be one the day this goes up. There may not be. I'm not sure what the schedule is at the moment. But they're only getting... I think they just finished with Chapter 2. So they're going to Chapter 3, and they're going to find out why a certain character of... they're going to find out why I hate a certain character. Really do not like a certain character. And, yeah, it's not just because he's voiced by a sex pest. Which, come to find out, it applies to 2 characters. Both in this game and actually the previous game, too. Strangely enough. But I think it's non-spoilery enough to say that yeah, they're going to find out why I hate this one in particular. But I can also give like a small spoiler-free review of the game, and I like it. I think it's fine. It's difficult enough in the right places. The mini games during the trials, those are fun. Especially once you get the right power-ups for it, it's like, oh shit, this makes like one game almost trivial. Because it's like, oh shit, yeah. That was pretty good. They do have a driving one that works like a logical deduction thing, and that's kind of weird. But because you drive, you have to hit the Mario Kart question boxes and fill out the question. Then you have to hit the escort with the right answer, and if you hit the right one, she'll hop in the car with you. Didn't miss a one, thankfully. And then they say good in that weird. It's like that weird kind of voice where you could tell it's somebody who English is not their first language, but also is trying to be over the top and it's not a bad thing. It actually makes it more memorable and a little endearing. So it's cool like that. And then there's the one where you remember like the underground from Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, where you had to like kind of dig out like fossils or what have you. You get a similar thing there, and you can even get a power up to nullify any penalties for doing certain things wrong. So yeah. But those are all fun. The story itself, there were some twists I definitely did not see coming. Because it's like I was led to believe one thing, and then all of a sudden, no, it's this other thing. It's like, oh, okay then. Still digesting how I fully feel about certain twists, but otherwise, it's like, all right, I can roll with it. I can dig with it. So yeah, it's overall I think it's a fun game. The post-game stuff you can get, like there's like this little board game that you can eventually play with characters from all of the main games, and I think even with DR3, the anime. So that'll be something. That'll be something I might do a little bit more of later on. But yeah, it's fun. The characters are memorable. The voice acting is top notch. Wendy Lee is in it, and if you like Wendy Lee, she's in there, and she's great. She is just great. You could tell that, especially the people who are more over the top are just having the time of their lives. So yeah. But yeah. Also, as a quick aside, I did the game 30XX, which is equal to 20XX, is out in early access now, and I streamed it the night before I recorded this, and so far it's good. The VOD for that should be up on my gaming channel, which should be in my link tree. Within the next couple of days. I'll try and plan it out to where it goes up after this does, so we don't have any crashing, whatever. And also, I do want to announce real quick that Random-A, the other podcast that I'm on, that also has ads running on this show, will be going up on the site, RT Gomer Productions, rtgomer.com, within the next week or two. Rosen has given me all the necessary stuff for it, and he's like, hey, you going to put this up there? I'm like, all right. So that should be going up start going up in the next week. I think we're up to episode 11 now. Next one we record is going to be episode 12. So yeah, it's going to be good times. So yeah, this is a bit longer than what I normally do for one of these, but I just really wanted to talk a little bit about Danganronpa V3. And for those who are curious, Chiaki Nanami from DR2 is still best girl. So yeah. Catch y'all later. Enjoy the rest of the show. Hey folks, we'll get back to the show in a moment, but first I want to tell you about Patreon. Patreon is what I use to get around all of the YouTube adpocalypse bullshit, and while I don't have a lot right now, every little bit does help. And if you like what you hear or what you see on any of my videos or podcasts, head on over there. For as little as $1 a month, you can get all of these things early before anybody else does, and you can get them completely ad-free. Yeah, I know YouTube right now is technically ad-free, but at some point, I'm probably going to get big enough to where ads will start coming in, and those can be annoying, so you want to avoid that, right? If you go ahead and go now over to patreon.com/Gomer21XX, leave $1, $5, doesn't matter how much, you can get all of these. Again, you can get them early, and you get them without ads, even when I reach the point on YouTube to where ads can be put on these videos. So it's a win-win. And you can even avoid the ads that go up on the Anchor versions that go out to all of the other websites that are out there. No ads. It's great. So that's patreon.com/Gomer21XX.
And now, an important message from Tyler Green, Kitty Quinn, and Randy Martin.
Are you tired of asking yourself if that obscure show or movie you watched once was a fever dream?
Is it still in your brain to this day as a 3 a.m. channel-changing hallucination? Well, join us as we yank that said memory out of your subconscious while we do a deep dive on it on Channel KRT.
Channel KRT is a new bi-weekly podcast where we look at the best and worst of obscure media. We'll be covering such topics as
The Puzzle Place,
Clown TV,
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the TV show,
Reanimated,
The Weird Al Show,
We Sing,
and more. Join us every other week over at Spotify, YouTube, Anchor, and wherever podcasts can be heard. Channel KRT, cut to static.
Hey y'all, wanna watch some anime? I haven't seen this one.
Oh, good idea. I've been meaning to watch this one.
Hey, can we watch this one? I was distracted.
Ignoring how easily Gomer is distracted by booty, how about this one?
Alright. How about this? Let's just pick one and watch one episode a week. We can even talk about it on a podcast. It's random, it's anime. What should we call it?
Random-A. Check out Random-A. Recorded every week at twitchtv.com/RosenThorn. And available...
TwitchTV.com.
Oh, good lord.
This is all staying in.
we are back from our break, and yeah. So before we get into this other article here, it's been pointed out to me that one of our friends, colleagues, mutuals in some cases, Tony Goldmark, who is the host of the Some Jerk with a Camera, Escape from Walt Disney podcast, which you really should go listen to, because he does a damn good job, and he is also the kind of work ethic that the video game industry needs to take note of, because he works his ass off, and if he has to pass a deadline to get something out that is of a good quality, he will say so, and he will do it, because his thing is not getting it out there by this date. He 95% of the time he does. For that 5%, he's out here and he's honest. He says, hey, you know what, it's taking a little bit longer. This is what's going on, without going too much into detail, because, A, privacy, and we hope to have it by this particular date. He keeps people informed. He doesn't overwork himself, or he tries not to. He doesn't force, he's his own editor, so it's not like he can force editors to go into crunch time, and at the end of the day, it's still a good product that he puts out. I think the closest video game company that I see do this is Nintendo, because, people are clamoring for Breath of the Wild 2. Haven't had any news yet, but, they're still working on it. Because
there was acknowledgement in the direct. He was like, yeah, we're still working on it, don't worry, it's going smooth.
Yeah. It's like, hey, we're still doing this thing. Here's something to whet your appetite, which, okay, Skyward Sword HD, all right. I may consider picking it up, I may not, I don't know. But I don't know about using the right stick to use for sword swinging, but it may work, it may not.
I want those Joy-Cons. They're
Those
so
are cool.
pretty.
Those are cool, yes. But yeah. So enough giving, Tony the metaphorical blowjob here. You're welcome. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Tony's a cool guy. But he posted a thing about Back to the Future, which most of us probably didn't think of. He said, it's been over 30 years. No one's going to talk about how Doc Brown had a pocket-sized roofie machine? And Michelle, you helped to refresh us on it. But it's like basically just like this little handheld sleep-inducing thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like,
I think they call it an alpha rhythm, or it's like there's I can't remember if it's alpha or delta, but it's the rhythm to help you get into REM sleep is a particular one of the alpha beta data waves. I can never remember which one it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's basically a sleep inducer. So
Yeah.
presumably people will use it to help them go to sleep because it works on Jennifer very fast.
yeah. And it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, you're not wrong, because yeah, there would be nefarious people who would use it for nefarious means. True. But I would think 99% of people wouldn't think that. Apparently, somewhere in and somewhere in his comment thread, apparently somebody else, you got that one person who was thinking that. Like, oh.
I want to say fair enough. At least one other person had thought of it. Like, oh no, I did. And like, all right, yeah, you did. Fair enough. But just thinking about that, well, because the 2015 of Back to the Future 2 is a lot brighter. It's quite colourful. It's optimistic.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, in terms of little technology, if you go through that, because there's one of the fan sites that had a fantastic article, like even before we actually got to 2015, about here's the things that we do actually have and that are similar and all this stuff, and it was actually quite good.
Mm-hmm.
But we don't know that those sleep inducers are a licensed product. As a doctor, as a man of science, he may have been able to get a special thing for it. I don't know. You don't know that it isn't regulated.
Yeah.
So, and assuming that Emmett is actually alive, properly at that point in the future, although given the fact given the fact how squirrely his timeline became, but theoretically before Back 3, Emmett could still be alive in the future when he visited it. Yeah.
I just thought that was an interesting thing. Is like, Tony's not wrong. I want to make this clear.
Yeah.
He's not wrong. That is an observation that is totally correct. Just not many people thought of it. And that's and that also serves an example as sometimes interacting with different people on your social medias or whatever, whether they're in your bubble, they're outside your bubble, it doesn't matter. There's going to be at least one person that pricked your brain and be like, "Oh, I didn't think of things like that before." Oh shit. It's kind of a dark example to use, but it works. And I want to make it clear. I want to make it clear that I am intending this as an overall positive. In terms of, hey, make you think of just something different. A different way of seeing things. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. In fact, learning how other people learning other ideas and viewpoints, I think is the word I was trying to go with, is in and of itself a good thing, because if you don't understand other viewpoints, how can you argue them if you need to argue them? Like I've seen people, and I think my mother has tried this a time or two. It was like, how do you know if you don't, how do you not do this? Like in a case of, well, if you don't know this, how do you understand it? It's like, I do know it. I just reject it.
Yes.
It's like, I understand why Nazis are the way they are. I just reject it. Because they're fucking Nazis. And what they call for is nothing short of genocide. So,
Basically.
Yeah, so...
Segue!
Yeah.
Before we get into the main article that I haven't looked at, so I'm not sure what it's about.
Mm-hmm.
Smallish update on that vegan teacher.
Oh, yeah!
Her main account has been banned from the TikToks. However...
Yes. And I... Oh, wait. Before you get into that, I have the perfect sound effect for this.
Hell yeah!
Nice.
Nice.
However, she has made mirror accounts. And
one of them...
Of course.
Do you want to say it or shall I?
It doesn't matter. It's going to be said one way or the other. It's okay. Because you got to have that context, because this is audio.
Yeah, she.
And I think it's clear that we do not approve of the name.
No, one of her alt names. There's a couple that she called herself that the vegan nurse and the teacher that sings, or is the vegan that sings, all this other stuff. But one of them is called that Holocaust teacher.
Yep.
What?
Yep.
There is no good answer as to why she chose that, and you can imagine the answer is because all the animals that have been killed, and again, and I think Scully, you're the youngest here.
Yes.
You have, in her lifetime before she became vegan, you have still eaten less meat than her. As of this point, so
Yep.
Just, wow. Just, no. This is, like, number one, you're a militant vegan who needs to shut the fuck up for a little bit.
Yep.
Like, and that's, and the militant, that's the word that makes it not okay. It's just, no. Like we said with religion. You want to be vegan, fine. And if you want to tell people about the benefits, the positive benefits that have happened to you, maybe somebody could be like, oh, hey, maybe I'll give that a shot. Fine. Because if you're just saying, hey, I tried this, if you're looking for a way for healthy eating or whatever, then this might be a way to do it in a perfectly rational, whatever. Similar to Tony's tweet, it would probably spark something in somebody's brain. Oh, I haven't thought about that. Maybe I'll give it a shot. Maybe I won't. I don't know. But it might spark the brain needs to think in a different way. And that's fine in and of itself. When you start going into eating meat is murder territory and the beef and dairy industry is cow holocaust, I don't know if that's an actual argument, but it might be close enough anyway.
I try not to watch her videos unless it's in a reactionary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's when you go from your friendly neighborhood vegan to no, fuck you, go away.
I
And
will
that's
say,
what the vegan teacher is. Fuck you, go away.
to counter your point slightly, meat is murder is not her original argument. That's been around for a while.
Right. Right. Understandably so. And I do say that in the broadest of senses, because it's like,
yeah.
What's the one thing when you think of militant vegan? Oh, meat is murder.
Yeah.
So
also,
and
just
she's
as a
also.
side- Oh, no, you carry
Go
on
ahead.
first. You carry on. You carry on.
Mine is meant to be a segue into the article, so go ahead.
I was going to say, what? Am I missing something? Because I kind of understand why Casey censored it in the Discord. For those of you who are unaware, I don't know if he's actually religious, but Rosen is culturally Jewish.
Yep.
So, yeah, okay, fair enough. But also the girl in the TikTok video that Ariel posted that confirmed that that's actually the word that Casey was referring to, also blocked out. Why are we blocking out the word Holocaust? Because I know there are some words that can be like a bit but this is important. It's not like the N-word.
I can see kind of two ends on this one. On the one hand, you know, the amount of anti-Semitism that's still going around nowadays, and how the word Holocaust can be used. There are people who would use Holocaust in just the most inane and stupidest and enraging of ways, which means all of the Jewish people who have, generationally speaking, have to deal with shit for years. In fact, there are still Jewish people alive who were there for the Holocaust, the actual Holocaust. They still live. It hasn't been that long. You know, we're like 1-2 generations removed, tops. Yeah. So, yeah, it's still fairly fresh.
75 years since 45, so yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, to some people that might be legit triggering. And to the people who have
that point.
Yeah, and the people who are, you know, whether they're Jewish by birth or Jewish by conversion, whichever, you know, it doesn't matter how you get there. The fact of the matter is, it was still persecution against Jewish people because they were Jewish. Because they were the scapegoat that Hitler needed to pull off his bullshit. You know, similar to how in America, these brown immigrants have been the scapegoats for all the problems caused by white people. Mm-hmm. That might be a little bit extreme on the all problems, but still, point is, they're still scapegoats. And that's and sometimes and again, this may be even a small minority of Jewish people who don't even want to see the word Holocaust. And it's still understandable, but still, the reasoning behind it is valid. It's like, hey, that's calling up some shit, and you add that to the people who use that in people in positions of privilege using that because they're losing. They feel like they're losing rights. No, you're just gaining consequences, you stupid honky.
Yep.
That's all it is. You're not losing anything. You're gaining a lot of shit. It's just called consequences, and you know, we're just now able to kick your ass. Metaphorically,
consequences,
or literally.
motherfucker. Do you face them?
Yeah. Oh, but okay. So.
No, I was just gonna say your point. You're saying about persecution and all that. Isn't this woman thinks that she's persecuted? Isn't she trying to make vegan phobia a thing, and yet she's using triggering terminology in her name?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just he just needs to go away. You know, get off these platforms. Go away. We reject you.
Yeah.
The majority rejects you. Majority rules. That's what democracy is.
The majority of vegans reject her. She's not helping the cause.
Yeah. It's just So she's also I've seen her also give like dating advice. Oh. Of course, bounding it back to veganism, and of course it's shitty. And that leads us into this article that Scully brought forward. from the Huffington Post, and we do realize that it's from 2017, so it's a few years old, about a little over 4 years old at this point.
Yeah.
And that I think you mentioned it even in the green room that Poe's law is in effect here, because I think you mentioned that it could be satire, but it could not be, but we don't know. I have not known Huffington Post to necessarily be satirical, but there is a first time for everything, I suppose.
Yeah.
So the title of the article is 34 ways your girlfriend is micro-cheating and totally getting away with it. Which, as of this, the last update was January 3rd, 2017. And it's clearly just a list. It's what it says on the tin. It's 34 bulleted items by Melanie Berliet.
Yeah, something like that. Berliet.
Yeah, that is an I. So Berliet. And
No,
if I'm
23 will shock
mispronouncing-
you.
Yeah, right. So assuming we've all got it open.
No.
We can
Oh,
we can go down like, yeah. Well, we'll go down the list a little bit here. We'll take a few in turn and talk about them, what have you. To try and get it a little bit right, I'm going to try and keep it to like 11 bullet points each. And then there's like one left over, and I could probably just take the extra. So okay. So bear in mind, we do understand this list is a few years old. 4 years old. Written, could be potentially satirical. We don't know, because Poe's law is a thing. So I'm doing that way somebody doesn't come back later. Well, you didn't realize it was this. It's like, we know. We do know this.
What actually is Poe's law? I've heard the expression, but I'm never even sure exactly what it is. I'm assuming it's a mean thing.
Yeah, Poe's law, and Scully, if I get any of it wrong, please correct me. It's basically something that's written that's not meant that's not really happening, but is written in such a way to make you think it actually is. Right. I think it's the best way to put it. How am I doing on that one, Scully?
It's a bit different from that. All right, I'll bring up the official definition of it. Okay. All right, this is okay. It was written by someone named Nathan Poe, and this It's originally it was about creationism, but it could be applied to pretty much anything. Without a winking smiley or other blatant displays of humor, it is utterly impossible to parody a creationist in such a way that someone won't mistake it for the genuine article. So,
okay.
Yes, because and a lot of yeah, like if you parody an incel, for example, yeah, it's probably not going to look like a parody because there are incels that say batshit insane things, like I couldn't come up with anything that incels haven't, probably said.
Yeah.
So basically, the last 4 years where we couldn't tell whether things were jokes or not.
Exactly.
Okay. So, all right, that makes sense, and it's definitely a lot better put than what I was trying to do. But all right, and there's also another note in this article that this post was brought to you by Thought Catalog and Quote Catalog. I have no idea what those sites are. I don't really care to look at them right now, but yeah. So it's not a HuffPo original. This was brought over from somewhere else, which that happens sometimes. Guest writers come in. Sure.
Yeah.
Anyways, 34 ways your girlfriend is micro cheating and totally getting away with it. Which I'm gonna have fun with this because another reminder, take a shot. We're non-monogamous, so so number 1, leaving the house looking especially hot right after a fight just to emphasize how much her significant other has to lose if he doesn't clean up his act and apologize stat. That's not micro cheating, that's passive aggression.
Yeah.
That's just no. Just that's just y'all need to go work some shit out. That's not micro cheating. Number 2, holding a stranger's gaze for longer than usual, hoping to distract him with thoughts of her naked body until he trips or falls, otherwise known as eye fucking. Maybe she just, it's not necessarily micro cheating. Maybe she just likes to. Word I'm thinking of. Flirt's not necessarily the word I'm going for, but
Yeah.
but it's just like, hey, you want me? You want to fuck me? I want to fuck me. You want it? You want to? Huh? All right, there you go. See? It's like, that's not necessarily micro cheating. Wearing her flirtiest skirt, and this is number 3, wearing her flirtiest skirt or dress to impress a guy she knows she's going to run into at some point during the school day or at work. Okay, that's just called flirting. And even some monogamous relationships are okay with it. And maybe she just, gets off, not necessarily sexually gets off, but it gets a bit of joy of somebody other than her significant other also finds her attractive. Because odds are, if you're with somebody, you're going to find them attractive. And, and I would like to think that most people would think, maybe every now and then, hey, I know this person loves me and finds me attractive and definitely boneable, but it's nice to know that other people do too, that it's more than just, they're not blinded by love, as you will. And there are people, and there may be other people that'll be like, hey, fuck it, I'm sexy and I want to show it off, and I want to show it off for this guy because I think he's kind of cool or hot. And maybe she does want to fuck him. Who cares,
Yeah.
Like I've probably said it before on things, but if no matter what your relationship is, if you or your partner really want to fuck somebody else, you should be able to be honest about it. Whether or not you're able to go through with it, at the very least, you and your partner have that openness and honesty about it.
Yes.
And especially if you want to bang somebody else outside the relationship and it doesn't take away from your feelings for your partner. I'm living proof that it can happen.
Yeah.
Because I've wanted to and have had sex with people outside of Becky and me. And we discussed it, we talked about it, we knew it was going to happen. Like, it took a few years for it to actually happen, but we knew it as an inevitability. And when it happened, I let her know we were about to do it, for no other reason than to say, hey, I'm not going to be available, this is why. You know what she did? She sent heart emojis.
Nice.
Like, that is encouraging shit right there.
Yes.
So even if it doesn't work out to that particular point, you should be honest with each other. That's all there is. And you should even be honest if you're losing attraction too. Like, if you're not attracted to that person anymore for whatever reason, but you could tell them, and if it's a deal breaker, then you do what you have to do. That's a sad way of ending. That's a sad track to go down, because that means the relationship will likely end. But again, honesty. That's the key thing.
Yes.
Let's see, where were we at? Number 4. Dressing super sexy on a totally random morning, specifically because she feels like being elevator-eyed and or catcalled. Okay, number 1. I could be wrong, but I wouldn't think most women enjoy being catcalled just by random strangers.
There might be some, but it's rare.
Yeah.
No one likes being catcalled.
If I'm dressed up, and I know I'm dressed up, then it's not often I get all my sparklies on, so a little bit of attention if I've made the effort. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
but then usually that's going to be situational. If I'm making that much effort, I'm going somewhere that it's likely to happen anyway. Not necessarily randomly on the street, but I'll be like, alright, cool, yeah, I put the effort in today. On the daily, no, not the sort of thing you want.
Yeah. It's just, it would be one thing if I catcalled Becky or my local nutty buddy. Yes, that's how I'm referring to her. Or even one of the other two girls that I say girls, one of the other two women rather, that I'm into and we've been kind of either semi-flirtatious or just silly or what have you, that might be one thing for most of them.
Yeah.
You know, but Becky in particular, yeah, I could catcall her and she would probably be like, oh, you know. But I couldn't go to the Piggly Wiggly and catcall somebody going down the aisle without negative consequences. Can't do that. And elevator eyeing somebody, you know, that happens. It might be a little weird if you catch on to it and it's unwelcome. But a lot of people will probably do it by, you know, where you can't note, where you can't see. So, you know, I'll admit I do it. You know, I see somebody, I do like a quick elevator eye thing, and, you know, they're none the wiser. I'm like, all right, she's hot. I move on about my day. I don't sit there and obsess over it, by the way. That's a whole different problem.
Yeah.
So number 5, smiling coquettishly when she catches a dude checking her out, as if to say, maybe. Or maybe she just appreciates the attention. Like, hey, how you doing? And who knows, maybe she is turned on by him. I don't know. But it's not, again, she may just appreciate the attention. 'Cause, yeah, she gets attention from one dude, presumably, because I'm pretty sure this is heteronormative as fuck. But if it's just one dude checking her out all the time, yeah, it's nice. It's again, it goes back to the whole thing. It's like, yeah, you have that one person there, and that is comfortable. That is there is a bit of comfort there, knowing that at least one person will always find you attractive, will always want to give it to you. But sometimes just having that outside validation is a thing.
Yeah.
You know, and she has the right to react positively to it if she wants.
We had a cute customer, and I kind of flirted a little. I was complimenting on his jumper, which was nice. And then my colleague Jay was like, "You flirty flirt." I said, "Was that flirting?" I don't know. I haven't done it for so long. It was like, it was just a bit of fun. I don't think that customer ever came back in again. Like, if he did, it wasn't when I was there. You know, it was a thing. I got teased for it. It was fine. You know, he was cute though. He was very cute.
I mean, hey, there you go.
There may be some coquettish giggling.
Let's see. Number 6. Winking and or smirking suggestively at a man who catches her checking him out, even if she has no intention of approaching him or taking things any further. That could just be, you know, hey, you know, oh, you know, and hey, maybe she's trying to make him feel good too, you know? Because, hey, guess what? We guys, we also like to know that we are attractive to somebody.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, even me knowing that I'm attractive to at least 2, maybe 3 women, depending on their sexuality.
Yeah.
It's still nice to have a random woman walk up to me, or hell, even a gay guy. I'm not gay, but I have had gay men, like, I've had a gay man buy me a drink. Even though, and I mentioned, like, yeah, I don't sing that way, but I appreciate it. Thanks, man. You know, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
It's still nice, because it's still like, hey, I got something going right, apparently. So it's like, all right, you know, and that's fine. You could make somebody feel good about themselves without micro-cheating, as they put it here.
How are we defining micro-cheating anyway? Is that just being in the world and interacting with people? Because that's what this article seems to be.
I'm guessing, and we'll probably know more as we get closer to the end. I am guessing that this has to do with the whole idea of, okay, you are with a partner, you are in a relationship with them. Anything you do has to be for them.
Yeah.
That is what I'm guessing. Let's see. Number 7. Claiming she's totally okay with her boyfriend going to strip clubs while conversing with another man just to seem chiller than she actually is. Meanwhile, she's got her boyfriend on such a tight leash back home, he knows if he's caught motorboating a stripper, she'll leave his ass in a heartbeat. That's not micro-cheating.
That's being just controlling, bitch.
Yeah. That's just no. That's just that's Control freak, no. Number 8. Encouraging a man to vent about his wife or girlfriend and validating every single one of his complaints along the way, subtly encouraging him to wonder why he's not with her instead. There are 2 ways to go about this one. Number 1, encouraging a man to vent about his wife or girlfriend or partner or what have you. You know, maybe he just needs to vent. Because especially in quarantine time, people are around each other more often than not.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
Especially if you're an old married couple. Literally or figuratively speaking. You're gonna have things... Yeah. You're gonna
20
need...
years.
Yeah. You're gonna need to be able to vent about your partner every now and then. You can't always vent to them. I mean, I'm pretty sure that I've done some things and Becky's had to vent to one of our friends about it. That's okay. You know? And I'm sure at some point the reverse will be true. I don't have much to vent about with Becky. Not her directly. Yeah. Some circumstances surrounding our lives, like the distance maybe, but not her directly. But if we feel the need to, and for whatever reason we don't feel ready to talk with each other about that yet, we have friends we can go to. That's kind of a healthy thing, you know? As long as we get back to the point where we can talk it out. Because, you know, maybe when you need to vent, you don't have all your thoughts cleared, and venting out will help clear out things. And if you can vent at somebody without hurting your partner's feelings, that's ultimately a good thing. Yeah. Because if you vent to your partner anytime, all the time, you could accidentally say something that would hurt them, and you don't want to, and you don't mean to. So you need friends. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So like if I'm venting to, let's say my local nutty buddy. Let's say I'm venting to her about Becky for whatever reason, or I need to vent, and she sees that as like, hey, do you want to talk about it? And when we talk about it, and all of that's let out, and I feel better, and I feel like, okay, I can now talk to Becky about this. That's a healthy thing. Now, here's where the other part comes in. The subtly encouraging him to wonder why he's not with her instead. You know, validating every single one of his complaints. See, that's where it comes from a friendship to manipulation. Because if you're subtly... And men have done this too. Hell, I've probably done it in the past. God damn. Yeah, I was a piece of shit. So, people have and will do that. That's not good. Trying to say, oh, they're not so good for you, blah, 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 blah. You know, or, you're right, she's a bitch, that type of thing. No. Mm-hmm. That's manipulative behavior, and that's a red flag. Yeah. Oh, that's not micro-cheating. That's just either being a good friend or being a manipulative bitch. Yeah. Number 9. Letting a guy she interacts with ever so briefly on the bus or in an elevator believe that he's got a shot for a few precious seconds before getting on with her day. That's not... More than likely, that's just her being friendly, and the guy is a delusional prick.
Yeah.
And that's not her fault. If she's flirting with him, and maybe wants to bone a complete stranger, then you have that conversation with, with your partners and everything. And that goes back to an earlier point. But in this, in and of itself, in its own, in a vacuum, odds are she's just trying to be friendly. Or at least friendly enough to where you don't feel the need to try and assault her. I say you, he. That sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's just. Number 10, giving her contact information out to a random guy who hits on her, even if she never intends on texting him back, just to see if he'll reach out. Again, this may be a thing on its face, but there's no nuance in this one. That's probably going to be a theme. It's, she could genuinely be interested in him. Okay, fine. Maybe she's in a non-monogamous relationship. Hey, guess what? If Becky was the type to go out to bars, COVID notwithstanding, and she's like, you know what, I'm going to give this guy my number. Okay, cool. Or she can even tell me after the fact, because I trust her enough. It's like, hey, cool, whatever. Whatever. Fine. And it also could be a case of she just gave it to him to get him off of her back because he's being an overbearing jackass.
Yeah.
So, because that's a big problem with this society, is that there are too many women who are afraid to say no when they really should. It's too out there. Okay. Number 11. Bending over at just the right moment, fully aware that some dude's hoping to get a glimpse of her ass. Well, depending on what you're wearing, I mean, that's going to happen no matter what. Maybe she's just bending over, you know? And who knows, maybe... And I will give this benefit here. Maybe she is titillated by guys looking at her ass. Or women. Doesn't matter.
It's a thing.
And if that's the case, oh well. You know, harmless. It's like, you know, you want guys to look at your ass and you put it out there? Alright. You know? It's not like you're not taking him home, you're not doing anything else. You're not trying to entice him to try and grab your ass. It's just, hey, you know, you like it? All right. You know, you got it? Flaunt it.
Yep.
There you go. And that's like, there's nothing wrong with that in and of itself. You know? Number 12, leaning forward at just the right moment, fully aware that some dude's thirsting to grope her breasts and that the glimpse of a little boob flesh will get him rock hard. Okay.
That's just teasing. And no.
That is a little teasy as well, yes. And not all, you know, and if she does that, sometimes the stars just align and it's like, oh shit. You know? And
also, do your round first.
Oh, there we are. All right. So some dude's thirsting to grope her breasts, and like, and he's not thirsting to grope her tits before. And you know, you do realize that low-cut shirts exist.
Yeah.
You're gonna see boob flesh no matter what. like, come down to Florida. You see them everywhere. Go ahead.
Also, you're forgetting the flip side of this, which is it your fault if the bloke has no self-control, or if his little chap decides to spring up to attention in what I presume is a professional environment, or at least a public environment? And my ex-boyfriend was explaining it to me once. She was saying about, I think she said she was watching the just a pop video. I think it was an EDM video, and whoop, there it is. You know, you look. Sometimes your little man, as far as I understand it, just pops up to say hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could be anything. A stiff breeze, rubbing against your underwear, just whatever. You could be totally naked, no breeze, no nothing, and you're just sitting there, whatever, and then all of a sudden, hi, I'm here to play. I'm not even thinking of anything sexual. What the fuck?
It reminds me of that joke. It's how do you spot a blind man at a nudist beach? It's not hard.
Oh
boy.
But yeah, just wow. That number 12 just seems insulting on both ends. Apparently, Jesus. So starting with number 13, Michelle, how about you take some?
Okie dokie. Let me just die first. Alright, I'm back. Pretending to be dumb to the fact that her nipples are hard as fuck and pointing right through her top. It could just be cold.
Yeah. And maybe she's trying to, I don't know, cover for her embarrassment.
Also, generally speaking, if you've got a good enough bra on, it doesn't matter if you're too pointy, because like the more layers.
Hmm.
No. Maybe it's just my nipples aren't that sensitive, so they're not really a big erogenous zone for me, but whatever.
Yeah.
I thought I did see a video thing. It was just a GIF actually, but I got like really distracted with it. She wasn't unattractive, obviously, but she had the longest nips. They were almost like udders. It was really weird. It was like,
oh no!
And I don't think she'd been pregnant either. I couldn't tell. It was like mostly focused on her chest, but she didn't have any stretch marks or anything that would suggest that her breasts have grown and shrunk back down again, like the way they would. They're just long nips.
Yeah.
They're distracting. Okay, 14. Telling a male colleague or classmate about a particularly sexy dream she had the night before just to remind him that she's a naughty little forest nymph deep down. What?
Or maybe
Okay.
she's just comfortable broaching the topic of sexy dreams with this dude.
Yeah.
Also, and this is a couple of times it's happened now, saying classmate, like, or saying at school, like, I don't want to be insulting to, and I'm going to go with late teens, like 14, 15, 16 and up. Yeah, because they're having their own sexual awakenings, but the way children talk to each other to the way adults, I'm going to go with 25 up because science has told us that 25 is the time, around about the age that our brains are fully matured.
Mm-hmm.
The way that, again, let's pick the 10 years between 15 to 25. The way those people are interacting with each other compared to the way anyone over 25 is interacting with each other is necessarily going to be different. The behaviour patterns that you had as a teenager, unless they're like good behaviour stuff, like being polite and all that stuff, generally speaking, the negative ones you're going to grow out of. So saying, let's talk about sexy, and yeah, maybe he told you about the weird dream he had the day before. Unless it was someone I knew well enough, I wouldn't necessarily tell someone about a saucy dream I've had.
Yeah.
Unless it was like a weird saucy dream, like, I had a dream about this hot guy I liked, but for some reason he was dressed like Mr. Blobby. You know, that's not actually erotic. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, you got the cute guy in there, but in a weird situation. I'm not entirely comfortable about unless it's college, but as the other point specifically said school.
Yeah.
I'm not entirely comfortable about the inclusion of like teenage interactions. Don't know why.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I mean, yeah, and you mentioned like the habits change, like the positive ones keep, negative ones grow out of. The ones that don't grow out of the negative habits or whatever, they become people like the quartering.
Oh boy.
You, every listener, being like, "Oh, yeah, no shit."
Remind me who that is again. I know them. I just can't remember. I know
He has
they're
a
an
hate
arse.
boner. He has a hate boner for Brie Larson.
Oh, that dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
15.
That's a very bare bones way of describing him, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah. 15. Prancing rather than walking. What? just what?
I just don't get that. Like, what? Maybe she just feels like prancing. She's gonna prance the night away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who doesn't put a little strut on? Okay. I refuse to believe it's just me, because I think I've seen people doing it. Sometimes I dance along to whatever I'm listening to whilst I'm walking.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
In
hey,
fact-
maybe,
Sorry.
sorry.
No, you carry on.
Maybe she just got a job. Maybe she just got a raise. Maybe she just realized she's fucking pregnant. Maybe she's freshly in a relationship and she's fucking happy about it.
Yeah.
Don't mean she's micro cheating. Mean she's fucking happy.
Yeah. But yeah, I when it first came out and I was cycling to and from work, I don't have to cycle to work anymore. But I used to do the cha-cha slide on my bike, which is interesting. Obviously, I can't do the sliding part, but I used to bounce up and down on my saddle, like doing the various moves as much as I could. It's just things people do that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, but don't you know you're also jiggling your tits so other guys can and do all of that?
Again, that's on them, not on me.
Yeah. Oh, just fucking hell. All right, go ahead.
16. Taking way longer than usual to put her hair into a ponytail because she knows she has an audience and can feel some guy undressing her with her eyes as she manoeuvres, and she likes it. What? Okay, I have long hair. I wear ponytails. I'm doing the actions now. So yeah, your arms are raised. I guess your girls are a bit more perky when you're doing that, but it's not an inherently sexy move.
No. I mean, if Becky doesn't normally do ponytails because her hair's not usually going to be that long, but if she were and she were doing it in front of me, I might be aroused because she arouses me. But that's about it. That doesn't mean every other guy or girl. We don't know everybody's sexualities. Doesn't mean everybody else is going to find her sexual. And maybe. And here's the thing, that whole taking way longer than usual to put her hair up in a ponytail. That audience might be you. She might be doing it for you.
Yeah.
I am literally playing with my hair right now. Just holding it in a loose ponytail. And I'm just like, I cannot think of any way of making this more erotic than it is. All I can think of is when both your arms are up, the girls are a little bit perkier.
Yeah.
There's no other way I can think of making it sexy.
I mean, there are ways, but it involves more than just the action of putting the hair in the ponytail.
Yeah.
But, Oh, just wow. Oh, God, number 17. Oh, dear.
Oh, I hate this. 17. Getting in touch with an ex, just say hi or hey there. Just because she could use the ego boost that comes with feeling wanted by more than one man simultaneously.
Maybe she's friends with her ex.
Yeah.
And it's even to a point to where I differentiate between exes and formers. Former girlfriends are ones that I am still good friends with. There's one I still regularly talk to, and yeah, okay, I still kind of want her, but, nothing's gonna happen there for various reasons. Yeah. But, she's a former girlfriend, and she'll say hi to me because we're still friends. Whether or not I'm wanting her sexually is not playing into that on her end, I'm sure. I mean, I'm sure she realizes I still do, but that's not part of the overall equation. We're still friends regardless of how I feel about her sexually. Because the friendship trumps the sex. Yeah. She may never want to have sex with me. That's fine. We're still friends. And getting in touch with an ex, in our case, former, there's nothing wrong with that. You could be friends with your formers. And to address the differentiation between former and ex, former are ones still friends with. Exes are ones that, for whatever reason, I'm either just not in contact with, had to cut off for one reason or another, otherwise not on good terms with. Yeah. So, to make that perfectly clear.
Also, I only have one actual ex, and well, she's not a man anymore, so
yeah.
I still talk to her, but that's 18. Yeah. Telling a man friend that she's an especially dirty joke, realizing that the punchline might just get him in a wreck. For fuck's sake with that!
If she wants to use a joke to turn somebody on, fine, but or even tease. This whole list up to this point is sounding more and more like maybe you're just insecure.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe he's vampire.
Yeah.
Just because I mean, hell, Becky and I bonded over things like dirty jokes and other shit like that. We bonded over that shit.
Quite a few dirty jokes, and I can't think any of them are horny.
Yeah. But it's like, and hey, if it's meant to be a joke that's a flirty with the punchline to turn him on or whatever, all right. That's fine.
I'm not saying they don't exist. I'm just saying I can't think of any offhand that I know that would particularly get me off. Yeah. Feel free to add submissions. Gentlemen, listeners, feel free to add any submissions because I'm curious. I'm assuming it is okay for them to share dirty jokes in the comments.
Yeah.
Share us your dirtiest jokes. Share us your horniest jokes. Let's just have fun.
Yeah.
And for those of you reading someone else's dirty joke, let me know if you got aroused by it, male or female.
Yeah, it's just. I mean, who knows? Maybe, if you're getting aroused by dirty jokes, maybe you're just horny.
Yeah.
Although it does remind me of this thing I read ages ago. It was like how you can tell that your older relatives are starting to recognise you as an adult, and one of the points was telling dirty jokes around you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
Now the second cousins are all starting to come to parties. We've got to start behaving again. It's everyone's just grown up. Everyone in my generation is now an adult, and now we have to start being careful again because of the next generation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what is number 19?
19. Making a not so innocent comment about balls or nuts that is distinctly designed to provoke a guy who's not her boyfriend.
Provoke how? Because I could see somebody. I can see like just somebody going up making sly comments about balls or nuts or whatever, and just not necessarily to get somebody turned on, just to garner a what the fuck reaction. Basically, being a little bit of a gadfly.
Yeah,
which it'll provoke me because I'm into that shit. The humor, not necessarily the oh, she said balls. Oh no.
That would be fun. He said balls.
Also, I don't know if this is a cultural thing where some of this stuff. I mean, I know we're all both kind of all confused, but it's like, generally speaking, British people are better at innuendo as well, and we have a broader sense of humour that kind of way.
Yeah.
Like, just saying balls or nuts is not necessarily a kind of thing. No.
Yeah.
I don't get it. 20. Going out of her way to compliment a guy she knows or encounters regularly on his new haircut, new shirt, or just to prove she's paying attention. Okay. If you're seeing him regularly, there's probably going to be a reason for it. Either you work with them and therefore just want to say, hey, Tom, you got a new jumper. It looks good on you. Or, like I've mentioned before, it could be a customer service thing. It could be nice, a way that your customer recognises that you... We had quite a few mature ladies. Like, not, like 50s, 60s. And older ladies, generally speaking, wear brooches a lot more often, I've noticed. So I will compliment them. Usually they're quite shiny and sparkly as well, which I always notice anyway, because I'm a bit of a magpie. So I was like, oh, I really like your brooch. Oh, thank you. That's not flirting. That's just being nice and noticing stuff. Like I said, especially if you happen to work in a customer service environment, the customers appreciate it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because I walk in and I wear like this necklace with a couple of little charms that Mel had sent me. One of them's a Metroid. One of them is like her little Bunny Spooks character. I've had people compliment me on both parts of that necklace, and I'm like, hey, thanks. So thanks. Now, are you gonna finish with that needle or what?
We had
but no, it's pretty cool. It's nice, and I
had
know
a lady comment. Sorry, carry on.
Yeah. And I know good and well because these were women who did this. Because that's the majority of the people who work at the actual poking at the plasma center.
Yeah.
They don't have any sexual interest in me, generally.
Yeah.
As far as I know. If they do, they haven't said anything, and... oh, well, whatever, So, odds are, it's not because she wants to bone, it's because she's nice.
Yeah. Also, we had a girl come in, and she had a, I was looking at her pendant, I was like, is that the golden ratio? And she goes, yep. She had a golden ratio pendant. I was like, neat.
Cool.
Yeah. And if you don't know what the golden ratio is, look it up. It's just basically a figure about how pitch, like, if you place something at a certain place in the picture, that's why your eye goes to it. But it's just like the diagram of it, like the swirly. I was like, that again, that's not necessarily flirty. That's just paying attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a talking point. Because, I suggested Google the golden ratio because maybe not everyone listening can immediately put it into their head. I happen to be able to.
Yeah.
So again, it's this list is stupid.
It is.
It is.
To be fair, it does say paying attention in the thing. Yeah, it's there are many reasons why you'd be complimenting any person, male or female, on the regular if you see them regularly, because that's just being a nice person.
Yeah. So.
Yep.
Oh lordy, wasn't there? Yeah, I think wasn't there one that you wanted to highlight in particular, Scully, that you highlighted in the thing? Because we are running a little long.
Yeah. Okay. Want me to just scroll down to that one? Okay. Well, here's one. 23 booty shorts. That's just slut shaming. God damn.
Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter if you're with somebody, you're not with somebody. You want to wear booty shorts, wear booty shorts.
Yeah.
I mean...
Don't slut shame.
Yeah. Yeah, no slut shaming, in fact. Well, there's a reason why Fat Bottom Girls is my favorite Queen song. Just saying.
Hell yeah. Man. Okay. 29. Addressing a man by his name unexpectedly, for example, "Hey Doug" instead of just "Hey," which breeds a strangely powerful sense of intimacy. What? Addressing someone by their first name is intimacy? What? Is that... Okay. I know this is kind of a cultural thing in Japan, apparently, but, I do not believe the person writing this article is Japanese, so what the hell?
Yeah, no. Just no.
No.
In Japan, maybe, but even then, just no. Because, hey, guess what? My former girlfriend, she is currently married in a monogamous relationship. She will refer to me by, usually by Gomer, because that's the one I've been going by for years. But she has, in the past, especially when she and I were an item, she has addressed me by my first name. But it's to the point to where, my given nickname, my stage name, whatever, is so synonymous with me that she's not the only one. Even Becky, Becky almost exclusively, unless we're using pet names or whatever, she'll refer to me as Gomer. So although I'm pretty sure there will be circumstances where she will whip out the first name if necessary, but I would imagine that would be some pretty important shit.
Yeah.
So
So, I mean, actually, since we're on the subject, is it you just don't like it anymore, or just you've gotten so used to being called Gomer?
In my case, I just prefer to go by it for the most part.
Yeah.
Family members, of course, they call me by my first name, but I typically don't care, but whatever. Y'all know me as Gomer, I'm Gomer.
Like, I'm obviously I said I'd like to be known as Michelle here. Other people like in the various chats they call me Phoenix. Aaron flips. Like the first time he was doing a live, he kept referring to me as Phoenix, and I never corrected him on it. So now, like when he's just talking to me, one to one or whatever, it's like, oh yeah, it's Michelle. Like sometimes he'll flip if we're in a group chat, but it's not like a streaming or anything. He'll like keep flipping.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird, but as a general rule, my online friends call me Fee or Phoenix, and my real life friends call me Michelle. Like it's kind of weird because like Phil, Zen's girlfriend, she calls me Michelle instinctively. Like never call me Phoenix, even though it's still my name in the chat. It's interesting.
And even then, even like I have two friends, Lacey and Vi. Those are not their real first names.
No.
The reason why Lacey goes by a different name is because, well, she is a college teacher in Florida. So, she doesn't do sex work or anything, but we all know how teachers in Florida are treated. So gotta be careful on that one. And then Vi goes by Vi because she just hates her first name. I like it, but, it's her name, and she wants to go by this. That's fine. There are a few people I will refer to both of them by their first names, and mostly with Becky, because that's how they were introduced. before, because they were introduced to Becky before they told me that, hey, I would rather be, outside in certain areas. Call me by this name, that sort of thing. Although I think Lacey at one point dropped her real name on a stream. Like, wait. But it's her call on that one. So.
Number 30 is related. Are we addressing that as well?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
All right.
By full name instead of nickname, which is secretly one of the most subtle but impactful ways to flirt. Not necessarily.
No.
She could be a stuck-up bitch. Be like, "Hello, Douglas. Hello, Thomas. Hello, Rebecca. Hello, Jimothy." I don't think it's Jimothy, but you get the idea.
I have another story. So my former colleague, I've referred to a couple of times, Jay. He is a James. He prefers Jamie or Jay. We had a couple other colleagues. For the sake of this, I have to use their real names, George and Carla, that I shortened down to G and K. I'm not sure why I did it, but they responded. They never seemed offended by it. It was just a thing. I was like, right, G, what up, G? How's it doing, K? They seem to, they never complain.
Yeah.
Anyway, at one point, Jay was like, G, K, do you never use anyone's proper name? I said, okay, James. And he just looked at me like, yeah, I played myself, didn't I?
Yep.
Yep.
Although I do like the fact that you just referred to him as G and you just said sup G, and I'm like, yeah, that flashes me back to a few things. Because that's something I've noticed in urban black communities. They just say sup G.
Yeah.
And it gets around,
I have to say, in this case, George is very white.
Yeah,
but,
I was guessing.
Yeah, I mean, no, it's also the fact that I have given people nicknames like my best friend Adam. Especially when I first met him, he had a few different nicknames, and a couple of them stuck and a couple of them haven't. But the boys used to call him Lego Man because they said haircut looked a bit like a Lego. But that was more of a thing. But I kind of called him Eric because I thought he looked a bit like a young Eric Idle. He asked me I don't really like that, so I stopped. A couple of months later, he said, "You never call me Eric anymore." I said, "You asked me to stop." He said, "Oh yeah, right, cool, thanks." But a couple of nicknames have stuck. I don't know why, but I called him Junior. And that seems to have stuck, but one of the other colleagues tried it once, and she called him Junior, and it was like, nah, it doesn't work, does it? No, it doesn't. Or the other one is Pebbles because of his surname.
Yeah. Oh.
So.
Yeah. So the last two on this list. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say my partner has a short and a long form name, and usually long form is when he's in trouble.
Yeah. So the last two on this list, I'm going to probably just try and bundle them up together, though they don't really fit too much together. Asking another man what he thinks about porn or some racy film under the guise of actually caring about his opinion, and all she wants to do is arouse him for a little just for kicks. While that's not outside the realm of possibility, likely not.
Yeah.
But and then there's 34, sending texts to a guy that are laced with more emojis than she typically uses when communicating with her besties. Maybe her besties are tired of her sending emojis for 15 lines, Karen!
Yeah.
You gotta think about that. And this guy is okay with it. Or maybe she's really excited about something and she's telling this guy, who may also be one of her besties, and he's okay with 15 lines of emojis. That does mean she's micro-cheating on your ass. No. And same with the porn thing. None of these mean she's micro-cheating or even regular cheating on your ass. Maybe she's just a friendly, flirty personality. Because you can flirt without commitment, It's like, hey, how you doing? You look good, wink and a nudge. Maybe a little obvious elevator action, to go to the part of the body you're looking at if you caught eyes or whatever. Look good, that sort of thing. But that's not necessarily going to lead to anywhere. If it does, then, well, you go on from that point depending on your relationship. If you're in a monogamous relationship, no. That should be a no. You know.
Right
But-
at the bottom here, we've got get a copy of Melody's book, Real Sex Stories That Will Make You Really Horny. Here, and there's a link.
Yeah.
No.
It's like after
Sorry.
all this, it's like no.
No.
I'm sure she's actually quite a nice person. Maybe, you know, I'm not going to disparage on her, but you're not selling. This is not a good advert, hun.
No.
Yep.
It's just no. I mean, it's none of these that we have read, and we did skip over a few of them for a time, but none of these in and of themselves are anywhere near cheating, micro or otherwise. A lot of them are just she's being a friend, or in some cases, some darker cases, because there is one like where one of the claims is laughing her face off at something that's not funny because convincing a man he's hilarious is the most effective way to flirt, or worse yet, giggling, and it's like. Maybe she's afraid of that guy. You know, like with the phone number thing. Maybe she's afraid of saying no to that guy because she's afraid if she says no, he's going to assault her in the bathroom later. And
Also,
and that is a very harsh reality.
Yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. Some of these are a little slut shamey as well.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
they
like
are.
it's like look, if she gets titillation out of getting reactions from other people, fine. You know, as long as nobody is getting hurt and you know and everything's cool. We're not, you know, we might make judgment calls in our heads, but who are we to try and stop it, you know? Because what's good for us may not be good for them and vice versa. Like would I be okay if Becky did half the things on this list? Yeah, sure. Because, you know, this shows she has more confidence in herself, and I kind of like that.
Yes.
You know, that's why I like it when she goes off on random people on Twitter and has the confidence to back it up. And it's like, yeah, bed now. You know, not necessarily because of what exactly she's saying. It's just the confidence behind it. That's where the turn on is. It's like, oh yeah.
Sorry.
You know, and to clarify, she does it for me in more ways than one, but that's and I am a relatively easy lay, and everybody listening to it is no fucking shit. Right? So yeah. So
I just had a
so
silly
but
thought. I just made myself giggle, and I'm sorry. I feel bad for it now.
It's okay. It's okay.
No, it's.
But yeah, even.
Sorry.
Okay, so I'll finish mine real quick. Even with all of that, there, the confidence, you know, is still a thing. Even somebody as easy as me can be turned on by something else. You know, we do have our turn-ons.
Yeah.
You know, and hell, even effort. Like Becky doesn't have to put in any effort to seduce me. She really doesn't. All she has to do is say, "Hey, I want to do it. Smooch me," and 5 minutes later, we're in bed.
Yeah.
That's basically how it goes.
Some fuck?
Yeah, basically how it works. But she knows that she can also, if she wants, because she knows like some of my favorite aesthetics that I like to look at. If you know, if my likes are public on Instagram or wherever, you could probably see some of it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she knows that if she were to do that, that would also very much work.
Yeah.
So it just means multiple things work. So, but yeah, I think I've shared. I think I've overshared enough. But that's what I do. That's what I do.
So yeah, about the whole being flirty at work thing, and then you were talking about Becky, and I'm like, okay, she could maybe have a flirty moment with like one of the patients, you know, carers. I'm trying to word this carefully for the point of the joke. She could be maybe weirdly flirty with one of her patients' mummies or daddies. However, it would be very, very weird if she was flirty with the patient. Do you want to explain why?
Yeah.
For those who don't know, she's working on becoming a vet tech, as in working with animals. You know, she is one of the people who helps either either Garfield or Snoopy when you take them into the to get fixed up or just outright fixed. So,
Yeah.
and she has had at least one occasion where a testicle has landed in her boobs.
Yeah.
I was like,
Oh, God.
all right.
I remember that story.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Because they like to throw parts around that aren't being used every now and then. Not like I'm not talking like immature food fight type thing. It's just like, oh hey, here you go, whoop. And usually somebody else is there to catch it. And even if it lands on the floor, you can just disinfect it and you just throw it away because it's not being used for anything anyway. It's essentially biological trash.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I think it's
whatever.
mostly. I hope it's mostly the, for want of a better term, clean procedures. Like when they're doing the fixing the dogs, the spaying and neutering, rather than if you have something pus filled. I don't think they're throwing around the gross stuff.
No.
I would hope they're not throwing
Not
around
as far
the
as
gross.
I know.
Don't throw around gross stuff, people. That's your moral for
No.
the day.
Yeah.
No.
But yeah, so yeah, that is going to be it for this episode. Probably a little imbalanced on the front end and the back end, but that's okay. That happens sometimes. I have noticed it happening, but you try and do what you can. Sometimes you get more out of a topic than others. That's fine. So yeah, Michelle, where can we find you on the social medias?
You can find me at my Linktree, linktr.ee/Phoenix11, PHEONIX11, and also, because I'm going to keep pimping him, Daniel Mills at Indecidian is still, doing the independent video editing thing. So if you need an editor, hit up his at. Link should be down below.
Yay! And Scully, where can we find you?
You can find me on Linktree, linktr.ee/Scolipendra.
Sweet. And as for me, in addition to the Patreon, which I mentioned in the mid roll, because of course that's where it goes. Unless you're a patron and you get it early, that means you don't hear any ads at all, unless I have a new one. But you don't generally hear the ads if you're a patron. Get that for $1 a month, by the way. If you're a kind of person who just I want to skip the ads, well, you can do that for $1. It's a lot cheaper than getting the ad-free experiences on places like Hulu or Crunchyroll. Just saying. Don't let that should not be the only reason you throw me money on Patreon. Or it can be. I don't care. Money's money. So, all right, we're aborting this. All right. linktr.ee/Gomer21XX that has all of my social media links. Twitch, which I've done a name change on my Twitch. It's no longer just Gomer21XX. It is now Gomer Ranting Thespian altogether. That has been updated in my link tree as well. And if you're in either of my servers, that has also been updated, as should have been proven, I think, last night. Yeah. So,
Cool.
So both my stagehands have it updated. So yeah, there you go. And I'm trying to stream at least once a week. I'm hoping for more. But yeah, the link tree has all of my social media links: Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, where I post a lot of Pokemon stuff, but my likes might be a different story. to kind of tie into what I was talking about earlier. Tumblr, I think I put my TikTok on there, and I need to do more with TikTok, honestly. And instead of just going in and be like, oh, this is cool, like. Oh, this is cool, like.
Yes.
TikTok's strange and scary. Maybe that's just me being old, but it is.
I do have a wig finally coming in, so I can maybe do some on camera stuff.
Yeah.
It'll be easier than having to dye my hair. So, but anyways, yeah, in terms of this show in particular, it is on the YouTube. That should also be in my link tree, and whatever. We do have the Discord. If you're not already a part of it, you can jump in and say hello, and it's not too awful active, but it's been a little bit the past couple of weeks. You can at least come, share news stories, all that. I'm probably gonna switch around a few things And of course, if you're a patron, you also get your own little cozy space too. But yeah, so yeah, that is going to be it. Thank you guys for listening. I really do appreciate it. Whether you're just a listener or if you're a listener and you're also a patron, yeah, I do appreciate it. And until next time, this is Gomer, the Ranting Thespian, with Michelle and Scolipendra, signing off.
Bye.
Later.